Okay, live, and I'm with Mark Newbill and Larry Porch. If I can find them again. There we go. They are with Sawdustt Beast Team, and I've got links to their Facebook and to their YouTube channel in the description. How you fellers doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to talk to you again, Rick.
Yeah. I guess it's been what, about 3 years this month since the LBL deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they don't seem like that long.
No, it sure don't.
How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Pretty good. Been busy. It's tough being a mother hen. Got all these biddies running around here.
Yeah, you got plenty of animals, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. So, what y'all been up to lately?
We just got back from the Appalachians in northern Georgia, and we spent, I don't know, Larry, 3 days up there?
Yeah, 3 days, 3 nights.
Hiking just about killed us.
Yeah, the Appalachians no place for fat boys.
No, the mountains are hard to get around in, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
That's why I got this side by side. Makes it pretty handy.
We could have used one about day 2.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and this is the second time that we've been there, and the first time we got bluff charged on a bridge. We had them all around us, and so we were really excited to be able to go back, and we found a lot of interesting signs there. We might have possibly videotaped one. We're doing the our protocols of debunking and all of that, and I'm putting a video together, which will probably be out in about a week. And it was just a beautiful place to be, and we did find a lot of signs.
And that was in northern Georgia. Is that what you said?
Right, in northern Georgia.
Okay, and you're let me show everybody your YouTube page. So you think you got something on the video?
Well, there was Larry and Cheryl had dropped down to the bottom where a waterfall was at, and Larry caught movement up on a shelf up above him, and so it's we're going through all the GoPro videos and the camcorder videos and that sort of thing. But Larry and Cheryl Corntassel both saw movement.
Now, there's no telling what that movement was. We're not making any claims at this point, but, whenever you see something like that and you're out boogering, you just...
It's exciting, ain't
it? That's right. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
But where this was at, it could have been a black bear, a deer, or something. I just saw something block out the light between trees moving from left to right, my left to right. And it was quick and didn't move any more that I saw, but Cheryl did catch some movement also. So we're still in the process of reviewing everything we saw, and we did have several cameras running, and we did have an audio recorder or two going, and ran some FLIR at night. We never did really catch anything for sure on the FLIR at night, but we had a good time. It's always good to get out there and hike 3 miles back with a pack that weighs about 50 or 60 pounds. And if you make it out of that, you're thankful.
Yeah. And that's what I always liked about you all. I mean, you go out and you do the videotape, and then you go over it. I mean, you don't just put everything up as Bigfoot. You actually go over and try to debunk your own findings. And that's, I mean, just good, honest research. That's what I've always liked about you guys. Was Kane and Eric down there with y'all too, or who'd you say, Cheryl Corntassel and who else?
Yeah, Cheryl and Justin Edge.
Uh huh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, Cheryl and Justin Edge were with us. No, it was a little too far for Kane and Eric to come this time because they were having some limitations with vacation and this and that. So we're going to get together with them here again, probably in a month or so, and hit a spot again.
Right. I got your Facebook page up too, and I'm putting the link in the description. And you all, I know, Mark, don't you show people how to go over audio, and people can get involved in the helping you guys find stuff on your audio, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, audio is an excellent tool to use in research. One of the things that we do is by setting out audio recorders, we're trying to figure out the trackways. So, and if you can time stamp it when they are coming through an area, you can figure out how long it takes them to do the loop. And so then, we try to set up in front of them. So when they come through, we're already set up. So that's just a strategy that we use to maybe get a sighting or collect some evidence. We really, we want to see them in their natural habitat.
Right.
But that's it's almost like when we get ahead of them, they know that we're there.
Oh yeah.
And so, that's why I tell people that, when you enter the woods, they know that you're there. I don't know if it's sentinels that are ahead of them that spot us or send us, but we have yet to be able to catch a troop come through the area, and we know that we're on their trackway.
Right. That's true. They've let us know because we've had some pretty good interaction whenever we went in Kane and Eric's area. They'd done their homework for what did it take them 3 years, Mark?
Yeah, it was about 3 years.
And we got there.
Impressive.
Yes, they are. But we got there one afternoon, went out and called that night and got some replies, and they immediately knew we're going to be in front of them tomorrow. So when we hiked in there, we had all kinds of activity. We had trees getting pushed down. We had whoops during the day, tree knocks, and other kinds of vocalizations, but it was just unbelievable. I think we had 5 trees pushed down, didn't we, Mark? And
yeah, it was 5 trees that snapped that we have on audio that we captured, and there was no wind, there was no storms, and sure, trees are going to fall and crash. But we really didn't hear crashes. What we were hearing were big trees that were getting snapped. And on that expedition, Kane Michael got to see a tree bow being made. And he is the only person that I know of that has actually witnessed a tree being bent over.
He saw the booger doing it?
He did not see the booger because of the foliage.
Right.
But from his viewpoint, he had gone down to a cave underneath where we were camping out, and he was going to try to see if he could see anything. And we believed that there was two of them, and the tree bow was actually a distraction because he was too close to the other one, and he heard the other one run off.
He also heard the other one growling at him previous to any of this. And he was trying to get in a position to take a picture of it whenever the tree bow happened.
Wow. Wow.
And it was a large sapling. I imagine we have it. I've got it on our Beast YouTube channel, but it was every bit 20, 25 feet tall. And he saw this thing getting bent over. He heard the cracking of it from where whatever grabbed it and started bending it down to the ground.
Cool. Yeah, them boys, I know, what was it? Was it last? Might have been the year before last. They went out every day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kane generally does go out every day in the location close to his house, but
He just got a piece of property, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
That place is beautiful. I seen the pictures of it. Man, it's beautiful.
Yes, it is. I just hope he didn't strap himself where he can't go anywhere researching anymore because he got to stay at home and pay for the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got boogers right there, though. So
Most likely.
that's an advantage. How far is his property now from where he researches at? His main research area.
Well, they go to different spots, but he is probably an hour and 20 to 30 minutes from his old research spot, probably.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, where he's at now definitely looks boogery. I mean, it's such a beautiful place too.
Oh, yeah.
So the Expedition Ohio is the ones you was talking about just now, right? Part 1 and Part 2 and Part 3, Part 4. I don't think I've seen Part 4.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got we picked up some awesome audio. Larry can tell you more about it because he actually heard it that night. And so we were pretty excited about going back and reviewing it and throwing it on the spectrogram. And it was what we look for as far as frequency signatures whenever we're looking for a possible Bigfoot vocalization.
Right, and that's what I found interesting. How y'all put it on the spectrograph.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got an extensive library of animal sounds, vocalizations, and so it's a night and day difference to be able to see, if somebody says, well, that's just coyotes, yapping, but the signature of a coyote is way different than what we believe is an undocumented frequency signature of a booger.
Right. Yeah, I mean, looking on the spectrograph, you can see the difference in it. That's what I find interesting. I've got that app, and I need to look more into it. But I mean, audio and the way you're doing it and letting other people listen to it and go through it is a good idea because man, audio is so time consuming. I love it, but man, I hate going through it all.
Yeah, and that's really why we created the Beast page, because Larry and Shelly Reed and myself, we were going to LBL and we were sitting out 4 and 5 recorders, each recorder picking up 125 hours. And, we would even be a quarter of the way through reviewing, and we were ready to go back to LBL and set out more recorders. And so we just started up this Beast page so that we could help train people that were interested in contributing, to the community. And we've gotten so much help on reviewing audio, and it helps everybody out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there's some people that can't get out and do stuff, and it's something to do, and it's interesting. And when you do find something on audio, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I do whenever I speak at conferences is there's a lot of people that are interested, and they might be homebound or not able to, to get out in the woods.
Right.
And it's a way for them to help.
Yeah.
And if I keep going out with Kane and Eric, I'll probably be one of the ones that's homebound listening to audio because they're going to wind up killing me.
The boys move, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I met all y'all 3 years ago down in LBL, and I mean, Kane. Well, no, it was Eric, I think, that told me about the whole audio, because I always keep a recorder with me whenever I go out, and have it going whenever you get there until the time you leave. And he's the one that showed me that you can plug the earphones into it, and it gives you like the super hearing. I love that deal.
Yeah, that's something that's a part of our protocols when we go out to make calls and usually it's either Shelley Reed or Debbie Jones, and they're monitoring, and it enhances your hearing by at least 10 times.
Oh yeah.
And there's been times that we've been out and made calls, and I've looked over at Shelley and she's pointing like there's something right over here, moving around, and we can't hear it, with the naked ear. But that's you don't want nothing to belly crawl up on you and not know that it's there.
Right. Yeah. And Shelly's the other member of your team, for people that don't know. And Debbie is she's part of what, Sisters of the Moon, right? Debbie
Right.
Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We have a very good alliance with the Sisters of the Moon.
Oh yeah.
And spend, I don't know, we camp out, I don't know, 8-10 times a year together. And they're just a great bunch of researchers. And we also have Andrew Meisinger on our team. And man, this guy is over the top whenever it comes to reviewing audio or debunking videos. He has some awesome software that he's able to do this with. And he used to be an archaeologist.
Oh really?
And, yeah, and now he's a computer scientist. And so, he's got these strict rules and that he applies to himself whenever reviewing things. And he's just a great guy to have on our team.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I like about you all. I mean, you're objective, and you're your own critics, and you try to debunk. And man, that's so refreshing to see people doing stuff like that.
It's a whole lot less embarrassing to debunk your own material than have somebody else humiliate you online. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My best sighting was going to debunk something someone seen in one of my videos. That time the booger crossed the trail in front of me. Because instead of going left, like you was talking about earlier, they pattern you. They watch everything you do. usually coming out, I call it Stinky Holler, where I have all kinds of interactions and stuff. I'll go left and go to the house. Well, I still had about an hour of daylight, so I went right instead of left, and one crossed the trail in front of me. And man, you talk about super fast. It was crazy, like a bottle rocket taking off so fast. It was amazing. But yeah, debunking. I think people ought to be more objective and try to debunk their own stuff.
Yeah, it's too easy to just say it was Bigfoot whenever you don't know what it was. And we are just extra careful. It's going to have to be everybody validating. That's what it is. Because when we go in and we find evidence, first thing we try to do is disprove it. And that's one reason why we do a lot of bushwhacking.
Right.
And go deep where humans don't go, and hunters won't go. You know, you hike 5 miles into the bush, you know, climbing mountains and rough terrain. You know, there's no way a deer hunter is going to drag a deer out.
No. No, it'd take a special type of feller to get back in them places.
Yeah, and you've got to go light. You know, we do a lot of hammock camping. We have found that that's kind of the best way to do that because there's no way you could holly and stuff like you're going to be camping at a campsite.
Right.
I mean, we pretty much we carry just enough water in with us to get us in there, and then we have to find a water source and use that for our water whenever we go in on these expeditions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're doing just primitive, but you just pack the hammock and like a tarp, don't you?
Yeah, we'll maybe carry a tarp, but now we've just whittled it down to hammocks, our food, and our camera gear and audio recorders and plot watchers and things like that. That's really the bulk of it. Except when it's winter time. We do a lot of boogering in the winter. And when it gets below freezing, you know, you have to be able to survive through the night.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a thunderstorm now. I don't know if y'all can hear it. One of my favorite videos of yours is an older one, and I asked you about it before, and I don't know if you ever answered me. The one y'all was on a boat. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about. Y'all was on a boat, and there's some eye shine in the background. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was I'm the Tennessee director for the MABRC, and that was a MABRC outing.
Uh-huh.
And it was in Oklahoma, and the water level was way up. So we came up with a strategy to go in with boats and be able to weave our way into these canals and just get way back using the boats. We were just like, once we got in there, we were able to paddle in and be quiet and able to get out and set out recorders. That's a real active area that we was at there.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great idea because you hear people talking about the waterways and stuff. Last year, I bought a couple canoes and started putting in the canoes and going back in these hollers and stuff that's flooded. And there's not houses for miles and miles, and nobody gets back in there. But you know, you can be silent on the water too. I think that's just a great idea.
Right.
And I've always loved that video. Which there's a couple of them with y'all out there in the boats. But so yeah, you're all involved in a bunch of different groups. You were part of the Outlaws, tied in with Sisters of the Moon. What else you got going?
The MABRC. We kind of seek out individuals in these groups. It's kind of like if there may be like different race teams that you might follow and like, but there's certain drivers that you really like. And no matter what team they're racing for that year, you're going to follow that driver no matter what team they're on. And there's a lot of competent researchers out there, and we just don't want to limit ourselves to, this is, they're not my group, so I'm going to snub my nose.
Right.
The thing about the Beast group is I don't even really consider it a group. I consider it a community that whether, you're an independent researcher or if you're in any group, you're welcome to come in and share your knowledge and maybe learn something that you can apply towards your own strategies in your own research areas.
Yeah. Fellas, it's coming down hard now. People's even looking to hear the rest of this. But if I might have to end it. If people are interested, your Facebook group, I'm going to put a link in the description. How do people join it?
Only thing you have to do is just ask to join
and answer a few questions.
Yeah, there's like 3 questions just to make sure you're not a robot. And then we have our YouTube channel, Sawdustt Beast, and there's a lot of good information that's on there, and it's not just from me and Larry and Shelley, it's from other people that we go out with. And whenever we go out with new people, we're looking to learn from those people.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer that there are no experts in this field, but there is knowledge and there are experiences, and from that we can learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I love y'all's channel. I would suggest people to check it out. I mean, y'all have got Dan Ricky and Vicky and Bear and Eric and Kane. I mean, just a variety of folks on there. Sisters of the Moon and just all good people.
Yeah. You won't have to worry about any type of ridicule or somebody thumbing their nose up at you. That's just something that we don't tolerate on that channel. If I go out with somebody that's only been researching for a year, I don't look at it as I'm an expert that's going to teach them. I'm looking at how I can learn from this person, because this is a person that has fresh eyes on something. And it would be foolish to think that I wouldn't be able to learn from them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, different people got different knowledge on them, and you all travel all over, and you can't put these things in a box. Like things that happen here might be similar, like up in Ohio or LBL or wherever, but there's differences to each clan. Would you agree with that?
Well, what we find is what we see in Tennessee is what we see in Ohio, what we see in Arkansas or Alabama or Oklahoma. We see a lot of the same things. And we use that. If we have a theory on something, like, let's say, what do X's mean? We want to go to a different area to either debunk that theory or to build on it. And one thing that Eric Tipton kind of pointed out to me one time when he was at LBL with us was we had a primitive camp set up, and we came over a ridge, and there was our camp, and he said, "Look, there is an X right there." It was almost like it was a warning, and that's something that always stuck in my head, that about these X's. And one thing that happened probably about 6 weeks ago, we were up in Kentucky, and I had set out a recorder. And when I came back to get the recorder the next day, Eric and Kane and Larry was with me, and we looked down on the ground, and there was a big X on the ground before we walked up on that recorder. And then we walked past the recorder, and there was another X on the ground. I just really feel like that I would have seen those X's whenever I set out that recorder the day before. It was almost like a warning. And on the audio that we got off that the 3 nights we were there, we counted something like, it was, I believe, 76 knocks that we got during the night.
So you think it's a warning for people or for other boogers?
I think it may be a warning. My theory. Now, this is my theory. And I'm pretty humble about my theories, but I feel it might be a warning to other boogers that there's human activity that you're about to come up.
I agree with that.
We did an investigation that we called Titanium Swamp, and we came up on a huge X. And we went past the X just a little bit, and there was a hunter's deer stand. So we were following the trackway. If we would have kept walking straight, which we kept walking straight, and we came up on that deer stand. So to me, it was almost like a warning to other Bigfoot that if you keep going on, you could run into human activity.
Yeah. Well, see, I have that exact same story. Whenever all this first started here, I put up at one of those climbing stands up here on the ridge line and went back to it like a few days later. I don't even think it's been a week, and there was a huge X right there by my tree stand, and it wasn't there before. I know, and
Wow.
I've noticed a couple other times I've set up tree stands and there'll be an X formed within a week of it. So yeah, I think there is something to that.
But that's just something that we've seen in multiple states, and of course you can't prove it because you didn't see what made it and why it made it. But
right, it's all just theories from your observations.
Right. It's a strong theory for me that I put in my Bigfoot box, and I keep working on it no matter where I go.
Do you think other structures they make other structures for other purposes?
In my opinion, I would think that they would.
For instance, I got the kill box deal off of Kumbo, and I think you boys talk about the kill boxes, and I find them all the time over here. Have y'all been looking into them anymore?
Well, usually whenever we see something like that, it's almost like they're trying to divert game animals
right
in the direction that they want them to go to where they can bushwhack them.
Like a corral.
Yeah.
I think it also diverts their attention. Like instead of just walking down a trail and not having to step over anything, or it kind of diverts their attention. I found several of them kill boxes around here now, and yeah, I think they're strictly for hunting. I think their structures have to mean something, and it's going to be something for like hunting or just a warning, like you was talking about earlier.
Yeah. Larry and Shelley and myself, we found just a whole group of different structures at this place we call Titanium Swamp, and it was a bottleneck. It was just like it was where about 4 game trails came together, and here were all these little ambush. It was like little ambush spots everywhere.
Yeah.
Diverting whatever game off the trail, and they could be bushwhacked easily.
They set up like a blind or something to get in behind. Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever found a kill in any of the kill boxes, or like the remains of a kill or anything?
No.
I found this a couple years ago where it was deer tracks and booger tracks behind the deer tracks, and then I found hair up on a tree and blood and just a mess everywhere. And then I recently found up here on the ridge line, like real close to my house. Have you ever found weaves like they do weaving?
I know researchers that have. I know Randy Savick right now has some weaving that he has kept in his freezer.
I'm talking about like the tree limbs and stuff. I'll send you a video. They've got a weave up here where they've got a bunch of like not saplings, but like 10-year-old. They're up about all maple trees, I guess, up there, and they've intertwined. It looks like an arbor or something. It's really cool looking, but they've intertwined the limbs.
Yeah, Debbie Jones and the Sisters of the Moon found some, and they showed them to us in Oklahoma. And I know what you're talking about. It's really interesting to see something like that because it's definitely manipulated.
Right, it can't be natural.
It's natural.
And I suppose a human could do it, but where I found several, nothing this big. The one I found this last time is huge. And it's just like maybe a dozen trees, and all the tops are weaved in together like a big arbor or something. It's pretty cool. And they got a big stick stuck in the ground upside down and everything. But I love finding stuff like that. Like if one branch is moved, the whole thing falls.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But one thing Kane Michael turned us on to is when you come up on these little structures like this, count how many limbs or whatever that makes up that structure, because what he has found is where it might be 22 saplings that made up the structure, and he comes back a month later and there's 17 saplings, and then comes back later and there may be 26 that make up.
Right.
So if it's an active area, they may piddle around with these little structures, adding and taking away.
Yeah, I've had one up here. I call it the ever-changing structure, and they really ain't fooled. It looks different now, but they hadn't fooled with it. Like all last year, it stayed about the same, but they kept adding to it. And I noticed a lot of them, like it looks like sticks pointing down. There's 3 different hollers you could go down from this one point, and it looks like the sticks are pointing down in that. And I don't know if they're using that to show each other where one's went. I don't know what it's all about, but it's pretty cool how it keeps on changing.
That would tell me it's an active area.
Yeah, they're around. I found some tracks yesterday down the new holler that they're getting ready to log. And what happened here is they started logging, and that's what they started hitting the house and stuff. And I guess it aggravated them. Now the next holler over, they're fixing to log it, and they're bringing the logs out down my road. They fixed up the road and everything. And they're going to bring them out here, so I'm wondering if that's going to get them started up here again. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. But they haven't hit the house or anything in a while. What is it, Larry?
I said you'll find out very quickly.
Oh yeah. I mean, Which I put up game cameras here just to keep them away from the house. I think game cameras are the best deterrent ever.
That's what I have advised people, that if you want them away from the house, put up a game camera.
Yeah, I mean, it just stops them hitting the house instantly. And the guy with the BFRO, he's out of around Louisville, Kentucky. Jack Smart. I don't know if y'all know him or not, but a lot of people talk about the BFRO. But like you was saying, you can get certain individuals out of it. And this guy knows his stuff. I mean, he gave me a lot of helpful hints. I was blessed into finding him. He was the first guy I ever talked to about all this. But he told me game cameras.
I have friends that are in the BFRO, and that if they called me up tonight and said, let's go out this weekend, I'd go out with them because of their integrity and their character. And I enjoy being in the woods with them. So I don't strike anybody out for just because you're not in the group that I'm in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people confuse the BFRO with the Finding Bigfoot show. But yeah, there's some, there's good people. We had a group coming down here a couple years ago, and we had a pretty good time.
I'd like to get Larry to talk about this documentary that we're going to be in.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, just tell a little bit about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing about this.
Well, we have a good friend named Cam Buckner. He's the one that runs Dixie Cryptid.
Yeah.
You know Dixie Cryptid?
Yes, sir.
But like you, he watched some of our videos and liked how we went out and got away from the crowd and got way in the boondocks and primitive camped as much as possible. And we picked a location. He wanted to do a documentary, not necessarily about our knowledge of Bigfoot, but our passion for it and the way we go about what we do. And we asked him if it was okay to bring Eric and Kane aboard with us, and he was fine with that. And we picked a very cold weekend in February to go to this location. And we just filmed what we naturally do. He agreed with us that he was just going to go with us and film what we naturally do every time we go out. He wasn't going to add anything to it. He wasn't going to set up any scenes. We weren't going to redo any dialogue or anything we found or had happen. It was just going to be raw cut action from what we normally do. And it's definitely not going to be no Hollywood action show, but it's going to be interesting just to see the mindset, what we put ourselves through, and how we try to go about what we do.
Well, that sounds. I'm definitely interested in that. So, is he going to put it on his channel?
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, it's going to actually be something that he's going to sell on something like Amazon Prime or something like that. But you can go to the Dixie Cryptid YouTube channel and look for the video called Trackways. And that is the trailer for the upcoming documentary.
All right. I'll have to check that out. I haven't really been online much. Got warmed up and been out and about. So, yeah, I'll check that out. So, anything else you guys want to add? Or?
Well, we've got stories. We could talk all night, but we know.
I know y'all got to work.
We got to go to bed.
Right. Well, shoot, y'all's welcome on anytime, man. I like to get back up with y'all. I like to get back out to LBL, to be honest with you. That place is beautiful.
I thought you were going this past fall.
Well, working on.
I understand.
We're getting rid of our old trucks, and we should get new trucks in by the end of this summer. And the old trucks are old and breaking down, and it's just been busy. So
well, actually, Mark and I haven't been to LVL since probably meet and greet at LVL, have we, Mark?
We've been a couple of times since then, but we
Well,
can farm ourselves out to other people and go to other areas.
Yeah. Yeah, well, see, that's another thing happening in the fall. People wanted to come here instead, and like I think I was talking to Larry a while ago about it, and we had a pretty good time here. I mean, we had some good activity, had some good handprints found on Pam's camper and Jay's little camper, and heard a bunch of stuff. And Pam even had a sighting. So yeah, we had a pretty interesting here.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. You want to get away and check out other areas. I want to do it too. I'm going to try to make it down to Oklahoma sometime this year. I haven't replanned it. I was going to go this spring, but had other things, death in the family, and work again.
Right.
That work sucks.
Well, if you ever get down towards our area, you holler at us because
I definitely will.
we'll hook up with you. And we love Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a hotbed for Bigfoot activity. It's just a hotbed. Where the Ozarks dump into Oklahoma, it's an awesome place to be. We've had some weird things happen to us in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I can't think of the mountain range name. It's
the Boston Mountains.
Starts. What'd you say?
The Boston Mountains.
Comanche or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
My friend, she owns property down there and has them on her property. I think she's out of the chat right now. But yeah, she's got them down there.
You're supposed to be filming an episode with Bigfoot Odyssey soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I think he's going to her property first. What I was just now talking about, and then I guess we had to reschedule that too because my grandmother passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he's going to come down here around the 4th of July. I think the 5th and 6th he's supposed to be down here. So hopefully that'll go through this time.
I'll tell you what. Now that's one YouTube channel I really enjoy watching.
Oh yeah.
And I guess because they are spending time with researchers that are putting boots on the ground, and it's something that I watch to try to learn from.
Yeah, Carrie and Linda's just good peoples too, and yeah, they do a good job on that channel, man. It is blown up. He's got a Facebook group too. I know Larry's in it. I don't know if you're in it or not, Mark.
No, this is going to sound weird, but I try to stay off.
That don't sound weird at all to me.
Possible, and I just unless I get tagged in something, Larry's always on me for you need to get on there.
Yeah.
Mark don't have the people skills I have, so we keep him in a closet.
Maybe one day when I grow up.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm only in a few Facebook groups now. I hardly ever get on Facebook anymore. I mean, yours is one, and then Carrie's is another one, and there's a couple more that I get on. But I rarely post anything or anything on Facebook anymore. I like Carrie's group because they're no nonsense, and they will sit there and actually, in a good way, debate a picture and try to convince people that everything's not Bigfoot, not every shadow or stump is a Bigfoot, and it's refreshing to me.
Yes,
I agree. Well, one thing you get with Bigfoot, you get drama, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I just wish more people would try to debunk their own stuff and, just step it up a bit.
And if you get your stuff debunked, at least man up and admit, okay, I was wrong about this. Everybody makes mistakes. But whenever you do get your stuff debunked and you fight it that much harder, that makes you look bad.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, yeah, if you're not wrong, you're not doing it right. I mean, shoot, you learn something every day whenever it comes to these things. I don't know.
No doubt.
it's interesting. I try not to call anything. I got a few things that definitely in my mind I know what I got because I was there and experienced it, but it's not real proof. You know what I mean? It's not the Patterson film or anything.
I agree. It's like I said on Bigfoot Odyssey the other day, whenever Jason was posting that about pictures. I mean, whenever you have an experience, you're out in the woods and you see something move and you take a picture and you see that shadowy spot between a tree.
Right.
In your mind, you knew you had movement there and you think that's something. But to the person that's looking online at that picture or, just Joe Public, they're going to look at it. You're not going to convince anybody of anything with just a blob squatch. You're just
No.
not going to.
No, you're not. I mean, and that's one reason I like to get on that group. I mean, and people shouldn't be hesitant to post their pictures and stuff. Just be careful what you call it, and
Right.
be open to other people's opinions.
That's the key to learning.
As long as it's done in a friendly manner.
It's kind of like techniques in Bigfooting. Mark and I may do something different than somebody else does. Does it mean we're right and they're wrong? No. We just have different techniques. And
Right.
sometimes if you can combine your technique with somebody else's, it puts you ahead of the game just a little bit.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's why we try to get involved with other researchers is just to learn from them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just ups your game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's what I was talking about earlier. All these booger clans. I say it like people from here. My family might celebrate Christmas one way, the other family celebrates it in a very similar way, but there's a bit of difference in it. And
Right.
same thing with researching. Nobody's wrong or nobody's right. Nobody's got that perfect film or proved it yet. So I mean, we're all in it together, and might as well make the best of it.
Well, that's how I agree. I think we should not be ugly to one another, and we should look at what we have in common and not sit there and try to pick somebody apart about the 2% that we disagree on.
Right. Yep. There's Miss Vicky in the chat.
We love Miss Vicky.
Yeah, her and Dan's good people. That's for sure. I got the privilege of meeting them at LBL too. That's a wealth of knowledge there.
No doubt about it. And
Yeah,
they're happy to share it with anybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
They are pillars in this community.
Yeah, and y'all check like I said, check out the Sawdust Beast channel, and there's a lot of Dan and Vicky on there, and they're really good people. Love them to death. Well, guys, I appreciate it. I don't want to keep y'all up all night. It's getting on 11 here, but y'all check out their channel and like and share and all that. Any closing words, fellas?
Well, it's good to talk to you, Rick, and hope to talk to you soon. Hope to get out in the woods with you again.
Yeah, you need to start doing some of these lives on YouTube. It's good to come in, man, and hang out and get the field questions and stuff live, and it's pretty interesting. And again, I know you're not going to be a guy that's going to come on the expert. I mean, you're learning too, and you're not going to blow smoke on anybody. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seemed like the more that I learned, the more that I realized I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you get more questions.
Yes.
And I tell him that continuously just to keep him humble.
All right, guys.
But,
Well, I'll stop the live stream. You got anything, Larry?
I was just going to say thanks for having us on. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you get a turkey soon.
Yeah, we seen one today, but little boys move around a lot.
Yeah, they do. You got to get a pop-up blind, man.
Well, I had
Cover
a
them up.
blind, but they was looking out the windows and wanted to point to the turkey, and I told them not to move. They did good. The oldest one today, I got him shooting a 22. It's the first time he's ever shot a gun, so we learned our safety and all that on the 22 rifle.
Yeah,
So that
that's a
was
good
fun.
way to start.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining. I'll end the live here, and thanks everybody in the chat. And y'all check out their channel. The links are in the descriptions. Everybody in the chat, have a good night, and God bless.